Welcome back, everyone, to the Cardsman Cards. The Cardsman's card. I can't say that right. I am the Cardman. We're going to be going over Superheavy Samurai today. This is, I would say, a very suboptimal build for particular reasons. This is my variant. You could definitely play better ones, like including Barone and things like that. I just find this build fun and really interesting when it works how you want it to. This build is meant to OTK your opponent. If you're not sure what that means one turn kill, or FTK, a first turn kill. I forget which is which. But it's meant to win on your first turn of the game by using Superheavy monsters to burn your opponent for 8,000 damage. And I'll explain how it goes in the later combo video. So, for the time being, let's get into the deck. We're going to start off with 3 Superheavy Samurai Motorbike. He was a recent addition to Superheavy Samurai. He allows you discard a card, add a Superheavy Samurai monster. You can also target another machine monster you control, increase its level by 2. I do believe it's machine monster. Yes. Next up, you have one of the more broken cards. Superheavy Samurai Prodigy Wakaushi. Wakaushi is just free body. You can place him in your pendulum scale, and then you can place another Superheavy Samurai pendulum monster in the other scale. If you do, summon it, and then you can discard a card, special summon a Superheavy Samurai monster from your deck. If you do, you are locked into Superheavy Samurai monsters for the rest of the turn. It also has an effect if it's used for synchro material. You can place it back in your pendulum scale. So basically, it's a monster. It specials. It's a free summon. Gives you another body, and also places it back itself as a material, but a pendulum scale. Very good. This is one of the reasons why Scarecrow, Superheavy Samurai Scarecrow, their Link 1, got hit. Very good card. Another one of their really good cards is Superheavy Samurai Soul Piercer. It's your add/searcher card. Whenever it's sent to grave, you can add a card. It also has an effect. You can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control. Equip this card from your hand or your side of the field to that target. It also allows your monster as equipped to do piercing damage. Now we have 3 Wagon. Wagon is another searcher, but he just searches your soul cards. On his summon, you can change his position. So if you summon him, you can change him to defense. Then his effect allows you to change him to face-up attack. If you do, you can add a Superheavy Samurai soul card from deck to hand, like Piercer or any of the other soul cards. Which leads us into Superheavy Samurai Peacemaker. Peacemaker is a very good addition. This was not only the last wave of support, but pretty recent. Past good like 5 or so years ago. You can target a Superheavy Samurai you control, equip this to it. All monsters your opponent must, I think, attack. Yeah. Except one equipped can't attack other than one this is equipped to. As a second effect, you contribute this card and the monster it's equipped to summon one from deck. Very, very helpful. We have 2 Soul Break Armor. This is the card that allows you to do your burn. Because if you banish any copies, you banish all copies of Soul Break Armor in the grave, target a Superheavy Samurai monster you control with defense different than its original, and burn your opponent for the difference. And we have 2 Superheavy Samurai Scales. It's a free body if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters, and you don't control any. Free summon. And then on summon, he special summons a Superheavy Samurai level 4 or lower back from grave. And then we have one of the newer pendulums. Came with Kaushi is Monk Benkei. If you control a Superheavy Samurai monster, you can add a soul card from deck to hand. So easy to get your soul monsters going. In addition to that, if you send a Superheavy Samurai Big Benkei, the card he's based off of, to the grave, I do believe it's from hand or deck. hand or deck to the grave, and you can special summon him. Then he has the same clause as Wakaushi. If you use them for synchro material, he can go back into your pendulum scale. And then a couple one-ups. We have Superheavy Samurai Stealthy. It's just a free body. He does have an effect. If you control no spells or traps, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Superheavy Samurai Stealthy once per turn. Quick effect, you can tribute this card. Target one spell and trap in your opponent's grave. Set it to your side of the field. Banish it when it leaves the field. Then we have Superheavy Samurai Soul Gaia Booster. This is another one of the new cards. It allows the monster it's equipped to become a tuner. It can equip itself from hand, and then it can summon itself from while equipped to a monster. So it's a free equip and also a free body. Very, very helpful. Not sure if you noticed now, all Superheavy Samurai monsters basically effects require you not to run any spells. So this is all monsters. And you'll see later on, I run some particular interesting tech cards because of that. This is the most recent card for them. This is Superheavy Samurai Security. If he is normal or special summon, you can add a machine pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. If you have no spell and traps in your grave, you can tribute this card by summon Earth Machine Monster 1500 attack or less from your hand or grave except Superheavy Samurai Security. You can only use each effect of Superheavy Samurai Security once per turn. I like his original name better. He used to be Superheavy Samurai Constable, but I understand why they changed the name. And then I do believe, a few more one-ups. Superheavy Samurai General Coral, just another pendulum. There's a joke that he goes by Pot of Coral. His on-field effect allows you to tribute himself and one other Superheavy Samurai card. Draw up to the card's up number tributed. So if you pop him, you just draw a card, which is really funny. He also has a pendulum effect. If a Superheavy Samurai monster you control destroys a monster by battle, that monster can attack again. So, just another pendulum monster to search off of other means to get your pendulums going. And the last Superheavy Samurai in deck monster is Superheavy Samurai Soul Horns. This allows you to target target a Superheavy Samurai you control, equip it from hand, and then you can special summon it from the equip spell and trap zone to the field by its other effect, and it gives the monster it's equipped to double attack. So very helpful for them for winning game. Also, just getting yourself another body. And we're going to move on to the non-Superheavy Samurai cards. Some of them you may recognize from Earth Machine, or just in general other decks that are popular that run these guys. First one including Ancient Gear Box. Level 4 Earth Machine. If this card is added from deck to hand, other than by drawing it, you can add an Earth Machine monster with 500 attack or defense, which is really good because you can add a couple cards in the deck that are very key, like your Coral here. And it allows you to very easily go into your pendulums and give you a free body on board. Next up, this is Awakening of the Possessed Nefarious Archfiend. Level 5 Earth Monster. It does look very strange, but the cool thing about him, in this deck you run Beyond the Pendulum, which is a spellcaster, which allows you to add a pendulum monster. But his effect allows you to tribute, you don't tribute, you send one face-up spellcaster and Earth monster you control to the grave, and you can summon this guy from the deck, hand or deck. And if you do, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Earth monster from your grave. So very helpful. I definitely would say not seen a whole lot of play. It's a Charmer's card, one of the new Charmer cards from their structure deck, I believe. But very helpful in this deck as you want to recycle some of the cards you use during your combo. And then the Pendulum monster that allows you to enable all of this is DDD Super Sight King Zero Maxwell. He has a pendulum effect. You can target one face-up monster on the field. Its defense becomes 0 until the end of the turn, even if this card leaves the field. You can only use this effect of DDD Super Sight King Maxwell once per turn. So what you want to do is target your big synchros, jump into 0, and then use your break armor to burn them for game. He has an additional effect. If you want to read it, you can. I'm not going to go over it due to the fact that it doesn't really do anything for me. And then we're going to go over some tech cards / hand traps that I'm running for the time being. And then we're going to go over the extra deck. So we run 3 Nibiru. Nibiru is just a good board control card. If your opponent summons 5 or more times, you can just send all cards. And they get a big token. It's equal to the sum of the card sent, and then you get Nibiru. 3 Ash. Ash is what's considered a hand trap and allows you to negate your opponent if they add from deck to hand, send deck to grave, or summon deck to field. And then we have 2 Archfiend Eccentric. These are in our recent OTS pack. I don't remember which one it was. Yeah, OTS pack 22. It's basically a pendulum MST. It allows you to attribute itself and then target one spell and trap and pop it. So this allows you to get past the effect of not having spell or traps by using the pendulum monsters. So very helpful when it comes to that. Definitely a good pick. I definitely would recommend this. And then a couple other one-ofs. We have Dino Wrestler Pankratops, a very good, easy tech card. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon it. And then quick effect, attribute a Dino Wrestler you control, destroy a card. So very helpful. It allows you to mitigate some of the dangerous cards your opponents are using. 1 Skullmeister, quick effect, negate a card in the grave. Very helpful when your opponent's using graveyard effects. And then 1 Ghost Spell of Haunted Mansion. I always find Ghost Spell and Skullmeister here are very interchangeable, because Ghost Spell deals with stuff moving in and out of the grave, where Skullmeister is just negating stuff in grave. So if your opponent adds a card from grave to hand, deck or extra deck, special a monster from grave or banish from grave, Ghost Spell can stop. That is everything for the main deck. Let us get into the extra deck. A lot of this so far seems a little weird due to the fact that it is a very different Superheavy Samurai build due to what most people do. So let's get into the extra deck. We have Beyond the Pendulum. Not sure if you can see that. There we go. This allows you to pay 1,200 life points and add a pendulum monster from deck to hand. This gets you any of the pendulum cards that you need. Normally you want to add Maxwell off of this just to get his effect, to allow it to burn for a game. 1 Ancient Gear Ballista, which adds your Ancient Gear box. When he's summoned, he can add an Ancient Gear monster or Ancient or Gear Town. That's what it is. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, just as a spell and trap pop. Don't use it a whole lot, but very helpful when you need it. 1 Platinum Gadget for special summons. 1 Cleafort Genius. You do Pendulum Summon in this deck, so Cleafort Genius is very helpful, especially if you can make it before you declare your Pen Summon. 1 number 41, Bagooska the Tilitary Tapir. You run a lot of 4s in this deck, so Bagooska's really easy to make. Especially if you get stopped in your burn combo, you can easily make Bagooska and pass, giving your opponent a bit of a hard time playing through it. As Bagooska has an effect, if he's in defense position, changes all monsters' defense position and then negate their effects. We have Gear Gigant X, which is a searcher. Detach one material from this card. Add a level 4 lower machine monster from deck to hand. Drill Driver, just to make overlay on top of one of your machine onto your machine Ixies. Just to make it 5, easy to go into Zeus. So if you attack with your Ixies and you need a big board wipe, you can go into Zeus. Very helpful. Tilted Entrainment. This card definitely spiked in usage after the ban list for Superheavy Samurai. Just because it's a good level 8 that whenever it's synchro summoned, you can target a pendulum monster face up in the pendulum in your extra deck, special summon it. At the end of the damage step, when this card your pendulum monster battles an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster will not be destroyed by battle, you can destroy that opponent's monster. So it allows you to get over cards that have battle protection, but also just getting you a pendulum monster back from the extra deck. Now we go into some Super Heavy Samurai synchros. You only need like 4. There is more out there, but you don't really no longer need to run them due to the fact they're kind of outdated when it comes to today's metagame. Superheavy Samurai Ninja Sarutobi. He allows you to quick effect destroy a spell or trap, burn your opponent for 500 damage. So it easily allows you to get cards that are a nuisance off your opponent's field, or ones that you need engraved to trigger. One Superheavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo allows you to target one of your opponent's spell or traps in the grave and put it on your side of the field. Banish it when it leaves the field. Also, all these guys can attack in defense position. That is another gimmick of Superheavy Samurai. They attack in defense position. Most of them, all the synchro monsters do. A few in-deck monsters do as well. Superheavy Samurai Steam Train King. He can attack in defense position, dealing damage defense's damage calculation. Once per turn, I can discard up to 2 cards, target that many of cards your opponent controls, destroy them. And then once per turn, you can banish all spells and traps from the grave. And if you do, inflict 200 points of damage for each one banished. Very helpful, helps you burn for those key moments. And then one of the newer synchros, Super Heavy Samurai, the Brave Masurao. He can attack and face up defense position. Super Heavy Samurai monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can destroy one Super Heavy Samurai card instead. Once per turn, if your opponent activates a spell or trap, except during a damage step, you can draw until you have 3 cards in hand. Very easy to refill your hand when needed. I do believe that is everything. This is my version of Super Heavy Samurai. There are others out there. If you want a more competitive list, I definitely would look. There are better ones other than mine. If you want to have some fun, especially playing with friends, I definitely would recommend this. It's very cheap, especially the newer cards are kind of not expensive as they were, due to how good Super Heavy Samurai was going to be when it first came out, until the ban of Scarecrow, which happened really, really early. It only happened 3 weeks after basically the new support came out, which is really nuts. Some additions you can add to this: you can add Barone, Estelle Stardust Dragon. You can add some of the Infinitrack cards that give you more advantage. You can add a lot to this deck to make it more meta standards, but if you're just trying to have fun and play around with some friends, this is a good alternative. I definitely say it would be cheaper than getting some of those big staples, but some of the staples now have been reprinted. But again, totally up to you. This has been my variant on Super Heavy Samurai. You can build whatever you like. I am the Cardsman Cards. This is Super Heavy Samurai, the burn variation. Keep collecting.